Tonight, we finally let Kyle talk about Power Rangers, plus trivia and a very nice Borat movie. Get out your pillowcase full of candy. All Systems Go is starting right now. Welcome to All Systems Go, the only pro gamer show on TV too. I'm your host, Nathan Welsh, and we've got a great show for you tonight. Let's just dive right in with our first story. First, some unfortunate gaming news. The PS5 launch lineup just lost a heavy hitter. Destruction All-Stars, developed by British studio Lucid Games, has been delayed until January 2021. Oh, and Cyberpunk 2077 got delayed too. That's right, the game famous for not coming out is waiting just a little longer, getting pushed from November 19th through December 10th. CD Projekt Red announced the move on Tuesday, saying that the delay gives them time to fully test the game for all 9 of its target platforms. This comes after the game already went gold on the 5th. Here to make sense of all this is Jeremy. Do you think the PS5 can survive without Destruction All-Stars?
Nathan, I'm going to push back on you a little. No one was going to buy this game. This was a $70 game. You have Sackboy, you have Spider-Man, you have Demon Souls. It just wasn't going to fly, but now it's going on PS Plus, so hopefully more people can get in. It's a multiplayer game. That should be better for it. I think I am concerned about Cyberpunk now. Officially concerned. Pre-order canceled. I obviously wish the best for all the employees who probably have to crunch a lot more. But I just don't know what state that game's going to be in. So we'll just have to see.
Right. Thank you, Jeremy. The hit video game Control is now available on Nintendo Switch, but not in the way you're hoping. A cloud-powered version of the game released on the Nintendo Switch earlier today. The streaming technology is necessary to enable the current-gen game to run on the lower-spec Switch. Players have experienced long queue times before they can get in, however. Next year's Hitman 3 will come to the Switch in the same manner. Corey, as a huge fan of the game, is this a good way to experience it?
Thanks, Nathan. I've personally never played a cloud-based game before, but in my opinion, any way to play Control is a good way to play Control. It's wonderful, it looks pretty, it's fun to play. I've played it at least, a couple times. So, the load times might be a bit wonky since it's the Switch and it's a little lower spec, but if you can, you should go for it, 100%.
All right, thank you, Tori. Adam Sandler is back, and this time, he isn't funny. Netflix announced this week that he will star in a new film called The Spaceman of Bohemia. The director is Johan Renck, who won Emmys for his work on the HBO miniseries Chernobyl. The film, based on the novel of the same name, will see the Sandman returning to his infrequent dramatic roles. The plot will cast Sandler as a lone spaceman on a mission to Venus. Here to give his thoughts is our part-time Sandman apologist, Darian Bolin. Darian?
I gotta say, I'm very excited for this. Films like Punch Drunk Love and Uncut Gems have shown that Adam Sandler has great range as an actor. Even stuff like Rain Over Me or Funny People. You know, he's very good when he has a director who can really push him to explore his acting range and push his limits. And Johan Renck, based on Chernobyl, seems like the director who can really do that. Hopefully, this is a sign that maybe he's going back to dramatic roles more often, since Uncut Gems was just last year, which is, this is coming very close. And maybe this could also be a sign of him getting an Oscar campaign. Hashtag Oscars for Sandler. So the Sandman deserves it. He truly deserves it.
He sure does.
He really does.
Now, when we come back, reviews of the latest games in the Amnesia series and the new Borat film. Are they worth your time? Which one is scarier? All Systems Go will be back after these messages. You looking forward to this, Darian? Darian? I forget what our next story is. Oh, right, Amnesia. It's not just memory loss, it's also a horror franchise with a new game. Here's Tori with a review of Amnesia Rebirth.
It's coming! It's coming!
7 years after the last installment, we finally received the next game in a legendary line of horror games, Amnesia Rebirth. This game, much like A Machine for Pigs, is set in the same universe as Dark Descent, but it isn't directly tied to that story, though it's much closer than Pigs was. Rebirth features main character Tazi Trianon, a Parisian drafting technician who finds herself stranded in the desert after her team's plane crashed. Naturally, per the title, she is experiencing some casual amnesia. As she searches for the rest of her crew and her husband Salim, though, she starts to piece things back together regarding the aftermath of the crash. One place where the game immediately curves from the Amnesia formula is story. It has one. Rebirth focuses in on that more than the other games, which adds a new layer of immersion to keep players playing. It also features the reintroduction of sanity from Dark Descent, but this time it's known as fear. It's kind of a mixed bag for me. I do enjoy the plot that it's handing us, and it seems to lean away from jump scares and more into anxiety-tripping ambiance, but not everything was so swell. I feel like they don't give you much light, whether it's candles or lantern oil, so fear rising in darkness is a lot more prominent. On the upside though, the graphics, while not photorealistic, do look lovely in the current generation. They also carry through with some hints dropped in older games, like a small touch of cosmic horror at the end of Dark Descent, and they fleshed those out much more fully. All in all, I had a good time. I like a game that can make me want to ball up in a corner and cry myself to sleep only to wake up 4 hours and 20 minutes later in a cold sweat, and Rebirth did not disappoint. I'd give it overall an iconic minus.
Don't you worry. We'll get you home.
In memory of Darian Bolin, we've decided to air his latest video on the show. It's really something that encapsulates the man he was before he unceremoniously collapsed on this desk a few minutes ago. Ladies and gentlemen, we humbly present Borat 2.
Borat voiced my wife. 14 years after gracing our screens and then retiring the character, Sacha Baron Cohen has brought Borat back to us in Borat's subsequent movie film, and not a moment too soon considering our current socio-political climate. Much like the first film, Borat 2 serves as a satire of racism, misogyny, and blind nationalism, which of course means that the character hasn't lost any relevancy since 2006. The character also hasn't lost any humor, fortunately. The film is still very funny. For the most part, it doesn't just repeat gags from the first film, which is a crutch that a lot of comedy sequels tend to lean on. It's fresh, but it still feels distinctly Borat. One major change between the two films is the overall tone. Whereas the plot of the first Borat was little more than a stepping stone loosely connecting bits together, the sequel places much more importance on the plot, which is for sure an interesting choice. Now, I'm not saying that the plot is bad, far from it. The plot works within the context of the Borat character, and there's a late film twist that brings everything full circle and makes it arguably more effective in retrospect. The way that the film acknowledges the cultural impact and recognizability of Borat also works really well. This would normally be the time when I start talking about the film on a technical level, but if you're coming to a Borat sequel expecting high-level artistic filmmaking, then you're coming to the wrong place. The film isn't flashy, but it doesn't need to be. Everything is carried by the performances from Borat and his daughter, who for the record are both incredible, and by the people Borat meets. A lot of people in the first Borat film were seemingly innocuous at first, but quickly showed their true colors for better or for worse. But in this film, everyone is mostly way nicer and more understanding than you would expect from a 2020 Borat film. The movie features scenes that include a babysitter and 2 Jewish Holocaust survivors, and both of these scenes end up being quite effective and even poignant. I found myself being genuinely touched by the kindness and compassion shown by the subjects, in a way I didn't expect from a sequel to Borat. Even the 2 stereotypical redneck characters shown off in the commercial don't end up being awful people, just nice, normal people with some misguided beliefs. And maybe that's the ultimate point of Borat's subsequent movie film. The people shown are nicer because Sacha Baron Cohen is seemingly more optimistic than he was in 2006. The fact that the film ends with a voting PSA helps support this theory. The film ultimately believes in America and what we're capable of accomplishing if we all come together and help each other. And honestly, that is, as Borat would say, very nice. Borat's subsequent movie film gets 8 wives out of 10.
Oh no, how sad. Nathan died. Guess I'll host. When we come back, Kyle has finally finished Power Rangers. Let's see how each season stacks up against each other. Also, the late Darian.
Oh, hi. Didn't see you there. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Comment Section. I am going to host this week because the theme of this week's comment section is Power Rangers related. I am going to now have the definitive tier list of what Power Rangers are the best, what are the worst, and what are just kind of in the middle. And with me to help me out throughout this is Darian.
Hello, that is me.
How much Power Rangers have you seen?
The main one that I'm familiar with is Mystic Force, because that was the one that was on TV when I was kind of into Power Rangers. But I did see like pieces of Dino Thunder and SPD, I believe.
So our tiers are Morphin Master, Ultrazord, Battleizer, Bulk and Skull, and then you have Rita's Dumpster. Obviously, we're going to start at the beginning. Now, Mighty Morphin is good. It's the show that started it all. Without it being as quality and as popular it was, we wouldn't have what we have today. Considering how good some of the other seasons are, it's not great. I put it as just pretty good. Like, I want to put it in Ultrazord, just because of the nostalgia factor, but I think it fits better as just okay. Next, we have Zeo. Have you seen Zeo?
I have not seen Zeo. I'm assuming it's about kids who become Power Rangers and they have to fight someone.
Zeo was the first season where it changed the theme. Zeo was like a big shift in direction with where the Power Rangers was going. It got a little bit more serious. It is good. I'd say it is better than the original run. So for that reason, I think it does go in Ultrazord. Yeah, it's pretty good, not great. So next we have a controversial one. That's Power Rangers Turbo. It's just bland. Turbo is like the first, I'd say, bad season of Power Rangers. So for that reason, it goes in the dumpster.
Mwah, mwah, mwah.
So then we have In Space. Immediately, I'm just going to say In Space, it's the best of the Zordon era of Power Rangers. Power Rangers is an epic space adventure, and it is amazing, and everything about it is great. So then we have Lost Galaxy. Lost Galaxy, again, continues the space theme that you saw in Space.
Even has the same logo. Like, they just took, like, the same template, just changed the words.
That's going in there. Solid show. I just think it does a lot of really cool themes. In Space is such a high bar, it was going to be hard to climb no matter what was next. It is still great, though. Lightspeed Rescue has adults who are good at specific tasks, and they are a chosen assembled team. You have a fighter, a EMT professional. You have rock climber. Wait a minute.
One of these things just doesn't belong here.
It's all right. Like, it's skippable. Time Force is the best season of Power Rangers, hands down. It's fun to go to that world. Do you know who makes Power Rangers? What the company's name is?
Yeah, that's Saban.
This is the last season of the original Saban era. Wild Force is the last of, like, the Saban era ones. Because it focuses so much on the story of the Red Ranger and his relationship to the villain, I think it suffers for that reason. The next group that made Power Rangers was Disney. Ninja Storm is a very silly season. It's made for children again. I was gonna put it in bulk. It's better than Wild Force, I will say that. My personal favorite season, and I'm immediately gonna put it in my Morphin Master. The only negative I have is the henchmen to the villain aren't great. Dino Thunder is the one season I'd recommend. It's the closest to perfect for a Power Rangers season you'll see. And then we have SPD. Another, like, emergency services themed one. These ones, they're police officers. I think it does suffer because it comes off of Dino Thunder. So it is good. So you've seen Mystic Force.
It's been a long, long time, and I remember, like, almost nothing about it. But yes, I have technically seen Mystic Force.
Do you remember it positively?
I do remember it positively, but bear in mind, at the time I was, like, 7, maybe 8 years old.
Mystic Force is similar to what the title says. It's a magical power. It's just so, like, simple. It's just not a fun watch. It drags a lot. I am going to put it in the dumpster. I honestly think Mystic Force is probably the worst in the bunch.
7-year-old me is very upset with you right now, but
7-year-old you is, like, throwing fists at my ankles right now.
yeah. And 22-year-old me just doesn't remember enough to dispute you.
Operation Overdrive is also really bad. And yeah, it's Operation Overdrive just drags on. Jungle Fury is really, really good. It's not as good as the other three on there, but it is very much better than SPD, Lost Galaxy, or Zeo. I rank it that high. It is easily top 5. And then RPM, it is the last season made by Disney. It's just meh, and it is very, like, self-aware of what Power Rangers is. So it kind of drags on a lot. Samurai, there's not much to talk about. It's just slightly worse Ninja Storm. There's nothing unique to say about it. Dino Charge and Ninja Steel are the same way. I just think they're ripoffs of what Dino Thunder tried to be, and what Ninja Steel, again, another ripoff of what Ninja Storm's trying to be. Actually, I'm going to raise Dino Charge a little bit, because it's basing itself off Dino Thunder, so it's a little bit better. But I want to rant about Megaforce. Everything that can go wrong with this season does. I talk so much about Mystic Force maybe being the worst, and then I remember Megaforce exists because I block it from my memory.
I'm kind of noticing here how like balanced out this list is. Everything is like pretty much even in terms of the number in each category, which is not quite what I expected. I expected there to be more outliers.
Just based on my descriptions of like the positives and negatives, what season do you think you would really like to watch?
Well, you did give a high praise to Dino Thunder, and that sounded intriguing, just based on the sheer amount of praise that you doled upon it. But I am also kind of morbidly curious about Megaforce to see like how bad it could possibly be.
Thank you again for watching. Coming up next, we have some more great videos for you. For All Systems Go, I'm Kylie. It's Darian. Thank you for joining me.
No problem.
All right, and we will be right back after these short messages.
Now, we don't normally have this many deaths on air. Nevertheless, it falls to me to revive a tradition that has always haunted All Systems Go, the Halloween game show. It's time to find out which person is the smartest one and also still alive.
Hey gang, and welcome back to ASG Trivia. Today our contestants include the Max Schilling of another show we will not be naming. One, Dan Snyder, who likes to sing.
Hi there, everybody. It's me.
The one, the only, Kayla Earnhardt.
Hello. Time to go poggers.
And returning champion, Darian Bolin.
Hey all, Darian here. Dab.
And I'm
Thank
your
you,
host, owner of over 300 million copies of SpongeBob, Corey McGinnis. Do you want that one?
I must decide. Yeah, sure, I'll do movies one.
Who was the only actor in the Lord of the Rings trilogy to earn an Oscar nomination for their role?
He is the most notorious mocap actor.
Is that your final answer?
Well, no, because that's not the name of the actor. But you know who I'm talking about.
I know who you're talking about. Is that your answer?
Yes, that's my answer.
You're wrong. Max.
Well, that's easy. It was, the guy with the beard and the curly hair, the little goat boy.
What?
The what?
Final answer, goat
boy.
There's no goats in Lord of the Rings, I don't think.
There are no goat boys
goat
in Lord of the Rings.
I've never read the book.
I think he's thinking of Percy Jackson, guys.
Yeah, he might be thinking of Percy Jackson.
No.
Are you thinking of Chronicles of Narnia?
Oh, maybe, yeah. Yeah, I've never seen any Lord of the Rings. So,
Okay, so good news, no. It's Sir Ian McKellen.
I don't know.
Hey, Gandalf.
Oh, that dude.
Gandalf
one does
the
not
Grey.
I knew that
simply-
one.
How many Pokemon are currently in the National Pokédex?
872.
Ooh, not quite. Dan, do you have a guess?
7,231. Final answer.
There are not
It's been around for
7,000
it's
Pokemon.
been around for over 20 years. Think of all the fanfic Pokemon that there are out
Oh,
there.
he's right.
Who's to say that the
hope-
National Pokedex is the official Pokedex?
He's making a lot of sense, actually.
In Wizards of Waverly Place, Justin had a girlfriend named Juliet who happened to be a vampire.
Oh my god, no!
Alex's boyfriend named Mason was what kind of magical being?
I know
So
this.
easy.
I'm just gonna say werewolf.
Yes.
Obviously.
Heck
Cool.
yeah!
Hooray! Go Team Jacob. Jacob? Go Team
Yeah,
Jacob.
Jacob.
was
Yeah,
the
it's
werewolf.
Jacob.
We have one final question. I am going to reveal this question, and then you guys
Oh,
have
boy.
to send me your answers via Discord, along with your wager of how many points.
All right, so here are the
Dan?
standings just as a reminder. Dan has 40, Max has 20, Kayla has 20, and I have 100.
That is correct.
I was about to say, I better not actually be in the lead with only 40.
And the final question is, this 2012 game by indie developers Parsec Studios not only spawned a sequel for itself, but inspired many more horror indie games, up to and including the recent Siren Head game.
easy.
Oh my god,
may
I
answer.
forgot. I've forgotten the answer.
At a wager of 40 points, Dan said Amnesia, which is not correct.
Idiot.
Oh no! Oh no!
Kayla wagered 20 points and said The Last of Us, which is not
Idiot.
correct.
Yeah.
Darian and Max, Darian wagering 100 and Max wagering 20, both said Slender the 8 Pages.
Let's go!
Yes!
And that's correct.
I thought that came out in like 2010.
No, Amnesia came out in 2010.
Gosh!
And that makes Darian our
Slender
winner
Man.
with 200 points.
Yeah!
Good
I
job.
came in second place. Let's go!
Max
doing
came in
ferocious
second
stabbing
place.
right now, you
Kayla and
can't see
Dan
it.
are also participants.
Woo.
Hey, we tied for third.
Well,
tied
that's the
for
game,
last.
everyone. I hope you had fun.
Good game,
Darian
everyone.
won, which makes sense. He hosted the last game. And that makes him 2-time champion. How exciting.
How?
I
I'll win
didn't
next
even-
time.
We'll see y'all on the flip side. Bye.
Bye.
Hey.
Bye.
Well, that's all we have for you tonight. Don't forget, Extra Life is just on the horizon. Keep on our Twitter for more information. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a few bodies I need to hide. Be sure to tune in next week for another riveting